Hey all, Eric Stevenson with Cruise and Duo Travel coming at you once again. And tonight, just because for whatever reason they've been on my mind all day, I wanted to talk about all-inclusive resorts um, and the top 5 questions to ask when you're looking at one. You know, whether you ask the property itself, whether you ask your travel agent, or just a list of questions to Google. When you're looking at them. The first one. Is it really all inclusive? What's included in the price? Water sports. If you're at a property that's on a beach or near a beach, what water sports are included? Motorized, non-motorized. Obviously, my dogs want to chime in as well. Um, you know, it, can you go kayaking? Can you go canoeing? Is it included? What are the extra costs? Do you get a beach chair and an umbrella, or just a towel, or what? You got to something you want to look at, especially if, you enjoy water sports. Same thing, snorkeling and scuba equipment. Is that included? Are there extra fees? Whether you like to snorkel or scuba, if you hate doing both, then don't bother asking. But if you like snorkeling, like I love to snorkel, I want to know, is that included? Do you get 1 hour for free and then it's $80 an hour after that, or what the deal is? Off-property outings, some of the all-inclusives will give you a free shuttle into the town center or the city center or a shopping plaza nearby. But you want to find out, if you're, down in Mexico and, you want to go see, I don't know, Chichen Itza or some other local tourist attraction or fairly local. Is that included in the cost? Is there extra fees involved? You got to find that out. Room service. Is there room service? Is there a fee for it? Is it only open from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. or is it 24 hours? What's included with that? Can you only get burgers and chicken sandwiches or chicken strips, or is it a full service menu? Drinks. A lot of us like to have a couple of while we're on vacation. So are drinks included? If they are, what's included? Is it, non-premium wine and non-premium beer and well drinks, or is it top shelf, absolute, and, the good stuff? You want to know that because, when you're comparing different places, if one of them is including top shelf drinks and the other one's only well drinks, well, it depends on how important, absolute is versus, I don't know, pop-offs, and each person's different. Spa treatments. A lot of these all-inclusives, they have some sort of spa. What treatments, if any, are included? Can you get that couples massage or, a mani-pedi or, I don't even know what else you would get, but that's just me. That was number one. The second question, what's there to do? What type of place is it? Is it an adults only? Is it family friendly? If you're married with, 2 little kids, 8 and 10, you don't want to go to an adults only place, obviously. One, they'd be bored. 2, you probably wouldn't be welcome. If you're a couple like Cheryl and I, my fiance, our kids are grown. I don't necessarily want to be running around in all-inclusive resort with a bunch of 8 and 9-year-olds screaming all the time, or with dogs barking. So you want to find out, what type of place is it? What's there to do there? Is it just a beach, a bar, and a pool? Are there activities? Are there, is there a golf course nearby if you like to golf? Is that included? Do they have water activities? Do they have, an activities director who tries to schedule, water volleyball and, Zumba in the pool and all that other stuff, or are you basically left to your own device, your own devices the whole day? And if that's what you like, that's fine, but you should know in advance. Same thing about the evening. What's there to do in the evening? Is there a casino on property? Is there one nearby you can get a free shuttle to? Are there live shows every night, or is there a dueling piano bar on one end of the property and a cover band, rock and roll cover band on the other end of the property? Do they try and put on Broadway-esque productions? What's there to do at night? You're going to be there for 4, 5, 7 nights. You want something to do besides just sit at the bar or sit in your room the whole time. If this is a couple's vacation? You know, what is there? Are there romantic things to do? You know, can you have a candlelit dinner for two? Can you go on walks on the beach? You know, in the moonlight. You know, are there extras available for those special occasions? Can you arrange to have, you know, chocolate and roses delivered to your wife on your anniversary? You know, can you set up something in advance so you can ask, you know, your significant other to marry you? You know, what's included? What can you do there? Question number 3: what about the room? What type of room is it? Is it, you know, king bed only, or 2 queens, or, you know, a couple of singles? Is it bare bones, you know, concrete walls and dirt floor, or is it a luxurious room with, you know, 9,000 count sheets and big fluffy pillows? And, you know, what kind of room is it? What's included in the room? Do they have a shower? Do they have a heart-shaped jacuzzi tub? Is there air conditioning? A lot of us Americans, you know, U.S. citizens, we're used to sleeping in air conditioning. And, you know, you go to Mexico, you go to Dominican Republic, you know, it doesn't always cool down at night as much as we would like. So do they have air conditioning? That, to me, that's important. If you are a family, will your family fit in one room? You know, a lot of places, they'll only allow two adults and 2 children in a room. So if you and your wife or you and your husband are going and you got 3 kids or 4 kids, you got to know that in advance. You do need to get 2 rooms, or is there a junior suite or something you can upgrade to have everybody there? You got to find this out ahead of time. Do they have swim up rooms? You know, that's you know, not, I wouldn't say new, but that's something that's kind of been popular the last couple of years. You know, rooms you're literally, you know, you take 3 steps out your balcony door and boom, you're in the pool, and you can swim across the pool, get your, you know, drink at the swim up bar, swim back to your room if you want. If that's something you want, make sure to ask. Last thing on rooms, the view. You know, what type of view does it have? You know, are you looking at a concrete wall? Are you looking at a beautiful, picturesque, you know, scene like right behind me? Are you staring, you know, at, you know, at a pool full of unattractive people all the time? Or are you looking out at, you know, the garbage pit? You know, find out what, you know, figure out what type of room you have. See if you can actually get a picture looking out from your room. A lot of places have, you know, virtual tours on their site, so you can pick a room or at least an area of the hotel and see what the view is going to look like. Number 4, how's the food? Food's important. You got to eat. Where a lot of us are foodies. We like to eat. We'd like to eat. It's, you know, almost a competitive sport these days. We want to enjoy. So how many restaurants does the resort have? What types of restaurants? Do they have one restaurant and it's just a buffet? Or do they have Italian and seafood and, you know, Mexican and Mediterranean and French and, you know, a hibachi grill and a sushi joint and a Chinese place? You know, find out what type of variety you have, what type of food they have. Another thing is dietary needs, dietary restrictions. You know, are you gluten-free? Are you a vegan? Are you on a special diet? And can and will they accommodate that? Because a lot of places will. You know, I mean, most of them do, but you should ask. You don't want to get down there and say, oh, by the way, I'm a vegan, and they say, oh, sorry, we only serve meat here, or you can eat, you know, our from our salad bar for the whole week. You know, you kind of want to know that ahead of time. Are all of the restaurants included? Because some aren't. You know, you know, so some places you'll have, you know, you've got 7 restaurants, you got the buffet, and you got 3, say, you know, mid-level restaurants that are included, but the 3 high-end restaurants, you know, they're more formal restaurants. There's additional fees, you know, or you have to make a reservation and you're only allowed to eat at 2 of them out of the 5 nights you're there or whatever. You should find that out ahead of time as well, just so you know you're prepared. You know, if you want to go and you only want to eat filet mignon or, you know, surf and turf or, you know, whatever, every night you're there, well, that might cost you extra. They might not allow you to go to, you know, the high-end restaurants every single night for the same price. Okay. Attire. A lot of us on vacation, especially when we go to beaches, we don't want to have to worry about bringing and getting changed into, a suit and a tie. There's a lot of people when you go on cruises, they don't do it. If the main dining room is having a formal night and you're not allowed in without formal attire, you end up eating at a buffet. Okay, you should know in advance though. That high-end restaurant that you're paying extra for, you don't want to show there in flip-flops and a bathing suit and they tell you, no, you got to have a shirt and tie or you got to have a dress or whatever. Ask about that ahead of time. If you are going there with your family, ask what the kids' menu options are. Because if it's not an all-inclusive resort that focuses on families, focuses on children, they might have a limited menu. Okay, your kids can have burgers one night and hot dogs the next night. Okay, me as a kid, I would have been all right with that, but not everybody is that way. Number 5, the 5th question: what's the cost? We've talked about costs, to some degree already, but now that you have all of this information, you can compare apples to apples, and you can, okay, is this a budget all-inclusive, and that's fine, and I'm okay with that, or is this a luxury? Is it, $100 a night, or is it $400 a night? And what do you get for those different price points, and where maybe there's a happy middle ground, but you have to know, you have to ask, what's it going to cost me per night? What's the total? What's the taxes? What's the fees? Because how can I say this? Not every resort you go to is the same, and their pricing structures are not always easily explainable. Sometimes you have to dig into the fine print to see if there's, actually I saw one earlier today that airport transfers are included, but only one way, to get you from the airport to the resort. To get you back to the airport is an extra $39, or you have to get your own cab or whatever. So those are the kind of, you have to look at that. So are flights included? If so, what flights? Are you flying like from Philadelphia to LA and then to Dallas and then to Cancun for the cheapest rate? Or, for an extra $40 or $50 a person, can you fly nonstop? Airport transfers, we already talked about that, but especially when you're in a foreign country, unless you know the language or know the local culture or the local area, you might not want to have to worry about trying to get a ride on your own, because not all countries have Uber or Lyft. You never know what you're doing, what you're looking at. So also with the airport transfers, are you going to be herded onto a school bus and taken from one airport terminal to the next to pick up people, and then stopping at 9 resorts on the way? So a 40-minute ride takes you 4 hours. Or for an extra $20 or $30, can you get a private transfer where it's just you and your group, whether it's just you and your significant other or your family or whatever, and it's nonstop right from the airport to your hotel? Gratuities. Are gratuities included in the price? Are they extra? Are gratuities expected? Are they allowed? A lot of the people in foreign countries, they are used to being tipped above and beyond whatever meager salary they get. So you should know that in advance, so you're prepared to bring a little bit of cash with you if somebody does a phenomenal job, or, however you feel about that. Everybody's a little bit different. Personally, I usually bring some extra cash just because, took the family down to Punta Cana 2 years ago now, I believe, and there was a gentleman there. He was a waiter, and as most of you probably know this, but a lot of times the staff doesn't just have one job. They have from 6 a.m. till noon they're serving breakfast, and then from 12 to 3 they're on beach duty, and then from 5 to 8 they're doing evening entertainment. So they're all over the place. And my mom was with us, and she met a waiter named Angel. And this gentleman, young guy, I think my kids were about the same age as him, so early 20s. He absolutely fell in love with my mom. And he popped up throughout the week. Anytime we were somewhere, it's like, honestly, like he was looking for us. Not in a weird way or a bad way, but he just fell in love with her. And so he made sure her trip was extra, extra special. And at the end of the week, I know my mom gave him some money also, but I happened to see him walking towards the beach. I think it was on our last day, and I pulled him aside and I gave him, I think I gave him a 20. I don't remember, 20 or 30, something like that. Which, not a huge exorbitant tip, but on top of what he'd already received, it was basically, I wanted to thank him because he made my mom so happy throughout the week. They have this local alcohol down there called Mama Juana, and I won't even go into what's in it, but it's actually pretty tasty. My mom fell in love with this stuff. So while I think it was our last day or the day before, Angel found us, and he gave my mom a bottle that he had made, because it's not just produced in a factory and then sold. It's kind of a homemade thing. And I believe it's port wine and rum and another type of alcohol, and then they mix in some, I don't even remember, herbs and different things, and then let it marinate for a while. And he had this bottle and he gave it to her, and it was really cool. So, long story, can't make it short, but check out their policy on the gratuities. Check out what they, whether they accept them, whether they expect them, that kind of thing. So that was my top 5 tips. I do have one more. This is mainly for those of you who are traveling with families. If you have children with you, under 18, find out do they have a kids club? Do they have a real kids club? Some of these places, they have a living room that's got an Xbox on one end and a beat up ping pong table on the other end, and that's their kids club. And you want to do some research into it, read some of the reviews, talk to some people that have been there if you can, find out, do they actually have a staff that's dedicated and trained to run the kids club? Do they have it broken down into different age groups? Your 4-year-old hanging out with a 15-year-old in the kids club, that's just not going to go well. And what kind of activities do they have? Do they actually have scheduled things and arts and crafts and for the little ones, and something different from the teenage kids? And do they go to the pool? Do they take them to the beach? Do they take them wherever and do things with them? Or are the kids going to be bored silly sitting on their Xbox? But if you take your kids with you, nothing wrong with that. Do a little research ahead of time so you know what to expect. Because you might, if you go someplace and their kids club is garbage, your kids are going to end up spending the whole time with you anyway. So, why even do that? But anyway, so that's about it for today. Just wanted to give you a couple thoughts and suggestions I had on all-inclusive resorts. If you have a particular all-inclusive that you absolutely love and you go back to year after year, drop it in the comments. Let me know. I'm always looking for new places to check out and new places to go and new places to recommend for my customers. So any place that you've actually absolutely loved, let me know. Any place you disliked, let me know. So I can not recommend them and not go there myself. All right? That's about it. I hope you guys have a great Tuesday night, and be safe.